No. Here, you go. And then you can do the ordinance. Yes.
Okay, any guests in attendance? Let's see, we've got Kathy, we've got Brittany, and that's it for Kathy and Brittany, okay, thank you. This statement, I just have a little something to say, just to, that I wrote up here. What a crazy year it has been. When I took over as president this past year, I would have never imagined some of the challenges we faced as a theater. I am so pleased with the hard work that so many people have put into the theater this last summer, sprucing it up. It is looking great. Although we've had several curveballs thrown at us in 2020, I am extremely happy with how we've rolled with the punches and come out with a great season so far. I know attendance has been lower, but I have no doubt that once we kick off our 50th season, our supporters will come running back. I can't thank you all enough for your volunteering and helping keep the lights on through this all. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for a wonderful year. I really did need that. Okay, so treasurer's report.
Okay, I did not bring a lot of details. Suffice it to say that our financial position is still strong, in spite of all the travails of the past year. We did receive a couple of very nice grants, which helped a lot. No, we seem to be, we're on schedule. We created a new account for a potential building project. And we opened that at $2,000.21. That's how much interest we have in a month. But we've maintained our levels. We haven't had any serious downturns, so our position is strong. And we are well set going forward. Hopefully this too shall pass and we will go on.
Yep. Committee reports. So let's see. This is my book. Do you have anything to say?
Well, sure.
It's totally it's last second. I'm so sorry.
So just in summary, we received, our National Prize received a total of $8,617.14 in grants. We also put in a nomination for another $5,000 from the U.S. Arts Resiliency Fund. It wasn't really a very good match for us, and we did not get any money. We were not selected, in fact. We didn't even respond to our letter, so easy come, easy go. We did have to turn back some funds to the U.S. Department of Commerce because our receipts didn't match what we turned in. So we, out of that $8,617, we had to give back $437.76. So we did have out of the U.S. Arts Resiliency Fund, not to be confused with the Department of Commerce grant, but out of that we had a productive conversation about getting those black curtains, and so those have been paid for, and I can always go and look for some funding to cover that. I did put together, and it's in the Finance Committee just set up a Dropbox thing for including shared documents, and this is in there, but I did set up kind of a preliminary list of potential grants should the board decide to go with a capital campaign to raise funds for the renovation. And if you do, then I will be coloring you busy, because I will be tackling all of these as fast as I can go. Predict a 2-year time period to raise enough funds. And I don't really know where the board or the engineers stand on, do we have to have all the money up front, or can we do it in sections? So that'll be something to figure out. I'm also looking at potential breakout amounts. And if the board approves this, then I can work with the engineers on that in terms of somebody, the Sertoma Club, for example, might be more interested in bathroom renovations because of accessibility, because they support disability issues, than something else. So we can put that information together, and that's my report.
I have a question. You said the black curtains were covered in the cost of those. Is that part of the 8,617?
Well, that depends on how the board wants to spend that money. Some of that money has to be spent on, COVID supplies, the stuff from the Department of Commerce did.
So basically,
But the other
they
money
could be covered by part of the,
Yeah.
okay. I
But
just
no one's
misunderstood.
come and said to me, okay, we're using this part of this grant for this,
Okay.
per se, so. And I'll just pass copies down to you. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Don't ask me any questions, so, because you got my own copy. Done.
What is seems pretty simple. Okay, social media, and everybody got these in the email. Yes. Nancy, can you hear us?
Yes, she said yes.
We maybe can't hear you as well. Can you say something one more time?
Yeah.
Nancy, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go. That's all the way up.
Okay, everybody has this in their email, correct? Okay. Social media?
So we continue to have a good presence on social media. It started off a little bit at the end of the year due to my unfortunately getting COVID-19. And then I scrambled to play catch up. But new year, we're gonna start again, really promoting the shows again, the same way I was at the beginning of this wonderful season. Just a quick rundown of our 4 major social media outlets. We do rely heavily on Facebook for getting information out to our patrons and our volunteers. It is our biggest pool of followers, active followers, and it continues to grow on a pretty regular basis. Facebook is in the process of phasing out the like button on pages. I'm not sure how that's going to impact us or affect us at this stage. I don't know if the people who like us but don't follow us will automatically be shifted into that following category or not. But once I know, I will let you know. Hopefully it's just this really seamless transition where if you like us, you become a follower, and then it's on the patrons end to decide whether or not they're going to continue following, as opposed to us trying to rebuild anybody who has liked us and isn't following us. But overall, we have more follows than likes, so that means we have almost 100 more people who are seeing our posts in their timelines anyway, versus the people who simply like our page. So that's a good thing. We did have one ticketing scam for 10 Ways to Survive Life in Quarantine, where someone tried to sell tickets to the show. We were not selling free advance tickets at all for the show, and so it was really obvious that it was fraudulent.
You didn't have to take a screenshot of that.
I did not grab a screenshot of it. I took it down right away. Basically, the individual posted that their parents had passed away and they were looking to sell their tickets, which is really just an awful and dark thing to do. Yeah, and since we obviously don't have advanced ticket sales going on right now, it was very clearly fraudulent. Fairly certain we caught it before any of our patrons interacted with the poster, other than having one individual call them out and say, look, this is fraud. And then it was immediately reported to me. So it was deleted and that profile was banned from our page. Which going forward, if there is any kind of scam like that comes up, that's going to be my process, delete them and ban them from the page. Most of these are fraudulent accounts anyway, phony accounts just seeking to get money from people, so it's not like we're gonna be losing out on somebody who is active with our community. Going forward though, this has become a very common occurrence across Facebook with many organizations seeing that even their events, their full events are being spoofed. And they're being offered ticketing options through this spoofed event. If you know what you're looking for, you can tell when the event is not from the original poster. If you don't know what you're looking for, it's very easy to get caught up in that and end up having that kind of fraud. So a couple of things that I will be doing on Facebook to prevent some of this spamming from happening is turning off all comments on our events. And I will periodically search to see if there's any of our events that have been spoofed by anyone. And then just putting out reminders that our ticketing, for this year right now, we are not doing advanced ticket sales, they're only available on door. And that the only legitimate way to get tickets is going to be through our website or phone number. We're still doing that. But just making sure to continually push that out to our patrons to remind them, hey, if you see something that doesn't take you directly to the Mouser Players website, do not purchase tickets that way. Let us know right away that you're seeing it. We have a pretty good following on Instagram. It continues to grow and is actually the platform that we have the most interactions with. So we reach more people on Facebook, but more people interact with us on Instagram. I am still learning Instagram, and so I am going to continue to grow in that area. And figure out how best to optimize Instagram so that we're not just sharing a picture here and there, but we can do a little bit more to encourage people to interact with us in that way as well. Twitter, we have 21 followers on Twitter, very low interactions. We have one real estate agent who, anytime something gets posted, he will like it and retweet it without fail. Which is nice because it's reaching at some people that maybe we wouldn't see. It would be nice if those people would then turn around and follow us. But I don't push Twitter as much currently because we just don't have much of a following there. Most of the people who do follow us on Twitter also follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and so there's not huge benefit in continuing to have the Twitter. So it would be an option to disable the Twitter account and then just not worry about that anymore, or I can continue to push things to Twitter. It's not hard to just post to all three of them at the same time. So it's not a big deal on my end, but if we feel that it's just a route that we want to discontinue, I am also perfectly fine with eliminating the Twitter account. We also use our YouTube account. Our subscribers are low, it's 14 people, but that's not a bad thing. It is how I do our live streams for our meetings, which I have been kind of sporadic on recently because of the number of Zoom meetings that we've done and things like that. But I'm hoping to increase that. We do have between 1 and 11 people watching. So people are going on, they are looking at it, they are doing it. So I want to continue that, and it's just a good archive for us to have. The meeting is just available to go back and peruse. We do also put additional content on YouTube, like our promotional videos, any previews, and then the behind the scenes that I did last year were all posted to YouTube. It is better to post to YouTube than to post directly to our other social media sites because the restrictions on YouTube are lower than they are on like Facebook. So if I use a piece of music and Facebook's like, no, then the whole video may get pulled down. And if we do it too many times, our account can get flagged. More often than not on YouTube, you put it on and then they're going to slap an ad on it because it's some sort of paid content, but you still get to play it, or they'll just eliminate that sound from your video. The video stays intact. So it's just a safer way to post our content to make sure that we keep the majority of our content active and live that way. And you have many people interacting with the videos. Our behind the bead for language in the wardrobe actually has about 80 views on it. So, which is one of our higher videos. So we'll continue with that and continue using YouTube. And I'm hoping to see if there's ways that we can kind of increase people's interactions with us in that department as well.
So one thing I noticed on Zoom, you can do a live stream right to YouTube. That's something that would be, I've never done it, so Ken or Chris, I don't know if you guys have tried that feature out, but I don't know, maybe we could try that?
We could give it a try and see.
And then I wouldn't have to,
Just, I have to actually investigate that possibility anyhow for work, so I can look into it and get the details on the steps how to.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if we could connect it to one, it would just be one less step for you. So,
Might have to be logging into the Facebook account then?
You'll have to be logged into the YouTube account. So whoever is running the Zoom would need the access to that.
yeah, no, it just says live on YouTube, and live on Facebook, so
Right.
I just thought I'd say that out there.
And I guess finding out too if they archive or if they are simply live. When we go live on YouTube, we can archive them. So we have them. I don't know. Obviously, I've not done anything with it.
Like, we're able to store the meetings for like 3 to 60 days, depending upon the size of the video.
Right,
So if we're able to archive it on YouTube,
right,
we're able to hold on to it longer.
right, right. As long as they have that option to be able to. Because I know some live services don't let you save the video after you finish your like live broadcast. So I'm not used Zoom very much, and so I just don't have
Yeah, they
the
make it
access to that. So
really, that's one of their features, so.
Okay, thank you. Finance?
Okay. That's nice. Just a moment. Oh, I got it. It's just a little. Okay, so I sent out this report and I'm just gonna read it. And it's just an overview of what we did for the year. We reviewed monthly financial statements for transparency and brevity of board meetings. Developed structure of the finance committee so that the finance committee should consist of a president, vice president, treasurer, and 3 additional members. We did cost analysis for purchases, assisting with financial budgets and reporting for grant application purposes. Established a separate email for finance / treasurer business purposes. Held the following discussions, and of course this is limited to the only discussions we had, but these are probably even most important and prevalent that we had. We did analysis for establishing and reviewing production budgets and operational budgets. Operational budgets have been held for future dates so that we can collect more data. We discussed future solvency. We discussed 990 reporting and options for future filing, which we did take care of. We also discussed the need for a new account relationship, which we did establish. We discussed the following topics for presentation to the board to increase financial efficiency of the auto pay functions for utilities, license and web posting redundancies, so like canceling our old licensing and getting that is more appropriate for what we do. Equipment purchases, payment processes, such as adding the quick process cards for shows without having to use the Arts People program since we're not actually selling reserved seats. And we also brought to the board establishing the basis of contracts. So, and as a little thank you for all the people who have helped over the years on the finance committee, because I think they do an awesome job.
Box office, anything?
Box office. Box office is basically dead since March. There is, I think we need to consider the possibility of switching from our speaker to something else. Moving forward, there's what may be better options. But and I think they need to be explored. We should probably do that.
Can you speak up, Ken? Can you speak up?
No.
Wow.
With the mask on.
House.
Yeah, I'm quite sure everybody got the house report sent to them separately. Mostly because I've done a lot of pictures and I really just wanted to brag. So I really don't think that there is a large amount to talk about. Because of our show system kind of falling flat, we took the opportunity to try and spruce up the theater itself, and we organized cleanup and repair projects. Out of the original 75 projects that were suggested, 41 have been fully completed, better than half. And so that's a pretty good average there. We did everything from new covered doors to repairing and cleaning the front stage, painting the bathrooms, taking care of the back hallway for the green room, cleaning up the green room. It's all in the report. I did put in some things that actually cost us some money to have it done. And hopefully I also attached if we had grant money that came in to cover some of that. In the idea of cleaning projects, we've had the library room cleaned, the wood room cleaned and organized, the green room and hallway cleaned and organized, the small props room cleaned, the rehearsal room cleaned and reorganized, the storage paint downstairs has been cleaned and organized, the concession kitchen was cleaned and organized, the backstage bathroom and paint area, the basement music storage area. Plus, we had a toss-it weekend to move large pieces and get rid of them, and the graffiti on the alley wall was cleaned up. I think we can very safely say we did a lot as far as the house this summer. But that shouldn't stop it from happening. There is continuing to be a list posted in the concession stand of other projects that could be picked up by volunteers and done. If you don't know what they are, or if you don't understand what needs to be done, both Heather and I, and sometimes Nancy, and I'm sure Randy can put in on it, to have an idea of where to get the equipment, what needs to be done. It would just be nice to see momentum continue. In the future, we'd like to look into the idea of installation of outside security cameras, continued cleaning, sorting, and purging of various storage areas, continuing the ongoing list of volunteer projects, painting and carpeting the green room itself. I am continuing to review, purge, and inventory costumes, props, and set pieces. Adding additional loft storage type in the basement for the large set pieces, and replacing the MRP logo stickers on the building front. And if anybody's got any other questions, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to give you information.
Good, thank you. Nancy, did you have anything to add? Nancy, do you have anything to add?
No, that's very good.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. The next one is concessions. I just wrote up a couple of things. Not that there's really a chair, but Tim and Lynn hung a bulletin board for different reasons. There's things that, supplies that are needed, volunteers for the weekend, or procedures will be hung there. A list of cupboard and fridge items has been placed on the bulletin board. So if we run out of coffee, please mark it down. I check it. I try to check it each time I come here. If we run out of soda, please mark it down. When we run out of things, if you happen to be at the store and can grab a pack of water, can grab a 12-pack of soda, and have a few extra dollars 1 month, maybe that could help out the theater a little bit. I think I have some orange lotion on there. There you go. Yeah. Oh, and then Then, in September, we purchased the popcorn machine, and I think we've used it in 2 shows now. And so it seems to be, well received, so I think it'll be good to keep using on certain shows, you know, the movie nights and things that.
Yeah, I think it should be all the shows.
It proved to be very popular,
It's
but,
kind of noisy and messy.
it's not so much the noisiness, we can deal kind of with that most of the time, but you do need to have 2 people in the concession stand
Yeah.
to do both things, because one person has to be dedicated to the popcorn machine and the other person to the money and the soda.
Yep.
But as long as you've got that,
Yeah.
it works well.
Yeah, I worked, was it yesterday? Yeah. At that time. I worked yesterday and there were so many people that came right in and because you smell that, right as you walk in, and that's.
Saturday, we actually had to extend intermission by a few minutes.
Because they were popping up some new batch popcorn, we had a rush on.
Yeah.
Well, and God bless them theater, but this popcorn is.
Oh, yeah, they have that, I mean, that's the big.
But that's it.
Well, because I think they pop it ahead of time. Yeah, pretty much ahead of time.
Our little
You
power
can
pop.
always add salt if you need more, but you can't take it off if it's on, if it's maybe going on.
Kids program,
I did put in kind of a recap on the 2 things we managed to get done. The Saturday workshops were, you know, they weren't well attended, but those who attended seemed to enjoy. And the one thing about it was, several of those kids then turned up and auditioned for Deck the Stage, so that was a plus. I'm kind of looking at maybe doing some youth workshops in February, March. I don't know. We'll see what we get put together. I think I'm gonna rename it. I'm gonna call them acting workshops, that then they really think they got something going on. You know, it can be the same lesson plan, it just, you know. Anyway, so we have the 2 things, you know, Deck the Stage. I felt, you know, considering we really didn't advertise other than Facebook some, and I did put it in the newspaper, and it was in on Monday. You know,
Pretty much the advertising that we did is the normal advertising.
Right, but I didn't send out, you know, like to KMOT and some of those places that I would normally, you know, on a regular, I didn't do any of that because I didn't know how to engage 50 people in it, you know, so. Anyway, I think all in all, we came out about even, so.
thank you. Newsletter.
Okay, the report is in the printed report, but we've averaged about 12 to 1,300 emails that have gone out, I think 10 times over the year, and the response was pretty good. Generally, we get 25 to 30% of the people who would click through them, depending on what it was, but if we had a link in there for ticket sales, we get 25 to 30% who click through. Something like that. It is enough to make it worthwhile. We did utilize it. We sent out 2 different updates on the Shields campaign. It must have worked. It must have helped because I had more people click through those emails than actually voted. Because they could click through more than once, but they couldn't vote more than once. So that was effective. The other thing, I suppose it's related to the newsletters, we're working on a new website. And Chris and Ashley and I have been doing Zoom meetings and setting it and getting it rolling. We're still looking for materials, images, photos, new logo. needs people to take a look at it and give some feedback on what it is. It's out there, it's live.
I looked at it today, I like it.
Just a note, Courtney has been interested in being involved in the development of the website.
Sure, our next meeting is on the 24th.
Okay. I know that when you had mentioned it to her, she was interested, she just didn't want to be like saddled.
Sure.
With it by
Well,
herself,
she
so,
wanna be, yeah.
yeah, I'll let her know when you're
Head
next meeting,
cheese.
if you want to.
Make sure she gets a link.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I think I have her email, but if you want to shoot me your email, I'll forward her the invite.
Will do.
Okay, so the website is up, work in process, but I think it already looks a lot better than the old one. Even though it's not complete. And it'll grow. One of the things we can do is we can embed YouTube videos in it. So if we have YouTube, I just need the link. For the embed link, I know there's an embed, a way to get an embed.
Right, yep.
If I get that, I
Yeah,
can put it
you should be able to grab them because they're set so that they can be embedded. I haven't turned that currently off, so you, should, as a viewer, should be able to grab the embeddable link, but if not, you can.
And it can also be done on Facebook, but it's a lot more involved, because they have a whole bunch of codes you have to get, and I can't get them. You have to get them for me.
I know I'm gonna hate this answer, but if you're looking for photos, how do I get them?
Well,
I learned how to do that too.
When you can either use Dropbox or you're also welcome to email them to me and I can get them into Dropbox.
Okay. That might be, yeah, there you go.
Or bring a flash drive to the.
Or flash drive, yeah.
We'll put them in.
I have thought it would drop.
It's not as easy as it, but I got it now.
Yeah. I mean, just-
Once you
just
once you
drop it
get
in the
using
folder.
it, super, super.
Once it's set, see, that's
Once it's set up.
Yeah.
Okay.
already.
Okay, because I've got pictures, I've got.
So the next thing is fundraising, anything, you know, we did.
We didn't do a whole lot of fundraising last year except for the Clarion. I don't know the exact dollar. I was never.
11:30, the Clarion total.
I believe it was 11:03 or something like that, or 11:30, maybe you're right.
The only thing I had from that was we got $750 plus $5 a
Right,
ticket,
yeah.
between 75 to 80 tickets.
Yeah, it was a great partnership to do.
Yeah.
So.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I have made contact with that Brittany at Elevation. We do have the murder mysteries kind of sitting, I mean, we had it all ready to go. And then suddenly,
It
you
was
know,
from, was it March or April?
yeah, it's usually the end of March, give or take. So she is going to go back and see if she can pin these people down to see if we would, again, give this a shot.
I can do the cigarette.
Okay, well, I got cigarettes for you.
Stephen?
Oh, sorry, and a little bit. When and if we're called upon to do a mystery, murder mystery type thing. Over Christmas, I picked up a game. It's called Murder at the Theater.
Oh.
And it is a boxed murder mystery type of thing. I believe it has 3 or 4 possible interpretations.
And it's like 7 minimum and like 7 people up to 30 or something like that.
Right, and I am gifting this to MRP so that we have something available to us
That's good.
when suddenly they say, oh, we'd like you to come and do a murder mystery. And it's like, oh my God. So
Yeah,
we will
that'd
have
be
this
very, very
accessible
helpful.
instant.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you very much for doing that.
I mean, that's a really good idea. It's kind of one of those things where you can have it in your back pocket and kind of sell it.
And when I saw it, it was like, well, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna buy it.
sometimes they fall right out of the, you know.
Okay,
Just
so
what it
it's a mini.
Yes, okay, so obviously, things got shifted around due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So our 2020-2021 season was postponed, and we are eagerly anticipating being able to mount it for 2021-2022. as our 50th season. Yeah. We met on Monday, January 4th, to discuss how we wanted to proceed with this season. Initially, the plan was just to keep the season as organized and just shift it into the new year. Obviously, pick new dates to better correspond with the weekend, but keep it pretty intact. But the committee did meet on Monday, and we are recommending to remove the foreigner from the lineup due to concerns with content based on our current social atmosphere. We feel that some of the themes are maybe best delayed or not, brought to our stage right now. So canceling the foreigner and then moving Little Shop of Horrors to this spring to allow more time for the COVID-19 precautions to be adjusted to see what's going to happen with vaccinations, with decreases in cases and things like that. If we continue with our current decrease in cases, hopefully things will become less regimented. We'll be able to open more options for doing things like a musical or a large-scale musical especially. But we feel if we wait until this spring to do our large-scale musical, it just gives more time to be able to make whatever adjustments and for the world to kind of even itself out again.
Now, are we gonna replace the foreigner with something else?
Yes, and I'll get to that. So we did also discuss concerns about some of the costs and pack sizes, but we feel this is an opportunity to show our patrons that we are confident and ready to have them back in the theater. Even if it means taking a little bit of a loss here and there, we want them to see that we are optimistic and hopeful and ready to do this. And to encourage them to also be ready to come back in and feel safe and secure in the theater again. So our proposed 2021-22 season, which would be our season 50, our September show would be to be determined. We're hoping to meet again in March or April to see what limitations are still in place and what the current circumstances are surrounding COVID-19 to make a decision on what show we are going to do for the opening of the season. We're hoping to continue with the idea of having something brand new so we can stay with the theme that we've already done, House of Players through the decades. So some of the titles that we have talked about possibly bringing include a musical, since it was originally planned for May of 2020, but was canceled due to COVID. If we're feeling confident that singing is a good idea at the time and things like that, and that, I know Ashley was taking the opportunity to do the show was taken from her, so giving her that opportunity back to be able to do the show. People were excited about it, the cast was excited about it, just being able to have that show in our lineup, I think, was really a great way to start, and the committee seems to reflect the same feelings, providing everything is safe enough to proceed with the musical. Other things that were talked about was possibly during the second installation of Church Basement Ladies. It's likely to be popular based on the popularity of the first showing, but again, if we're uncomfortable to include because it's a musical, it's probably not wise to do Church Basement Ladies because it is also a musical. And so then we're also going to be looking into finding possibly a new play that was written recently or a light comedy that we've not done in House of Players before that would fit into that slot. Something that's going to kind of take the edge off of the past year. But our first hope would be that things would be grounded enough to be able to bring food back. And then we'll go from there, but we won't make a decision on that to bring to the board until March or April. And we've got a few months into the vaccinations and the decline in the number of cases.
I just have a question.
Yes.
Would it be that far off to take Who in place of Little Shop of Horrors? I realize it's through the decades and
Right.
so on, but it's got more people, it gives more time, and there's so much cost that goes with Little Shop of Horrors.
Right, and we did discuss the cost, and one of the things that we like about Little Shop of Horrors is that it is a big production. And by doing a big production, we're telling our patrons that we are ready to be back on stage. We're ready for you to be back with us. And we're willing to take that monetary risk to do a show that we know that you are going to be excited to see.
Well, I agree with that, absolutely. But I think cast wise, I think there's more cast in.
There's not,
Blue.
there's,
No, there's not.
there actually,
It's only 8 people.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're
well,
actually,
but there isn't a chorus.
there's really not a chorus in Little Shop either.
No, you don't need, I realize that, but I'm just saying that sometimes if you pick something that has a chorus, you can kind of, work in, some cast members who are newbies.
Right, which Little Shop would absolutely allow for that sort of thing. It actually would probably lend itself more to, why most people on the streets for the big numbers. Plus, so the role, Orange Crivello doubles the 3 people in the second act who are looking to monetize the plant, and those 3 roles can be broken out into smaller roles.
True, that's.
So,
When it was originally done, under Paula, she added something like 8 additional roles.
Right. So Little Shop we would be able to expand it pretty big, or we could keep it very small. The number is, I think it's 8, we have to have 8 to be able to do the show. So it could be a big draw for more people,
it could be.
or we could keep it small.
You could recognize.
Well, I realize that, I keep thinking about the puppets and the costs and the, and thinking, well, but anyway.
And those were things that we definitely did discuss, but just kind of the sentiment of like, come out swinging, come out with a bang, to really just hype up our audience.
Yeah, probably should have that for the first one, no question about it.
And then we're looking at continuing with Alice in Wonderland. We didn't get a chance to check in with Chris, if she's still on board for it. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure before I was like, this is what we're doing. So doing that for our November, December Thanksgiving time show. It'll be the kids show, so lots of opportunities. And a lot of work has already been done with that. January, staying with Anne Frank. March, you can't take it with you, and then closing out the season with Little Shop. So we, go on a really high note with that for the season. The date for the proposed season are to be determined at our next meeting, once we have a little bit clearer picture of what's going on in the world, so that we can set those dates up and have them available for proposal to the board.
Okay, thank you. Tenant building?
I had dropped the ball on the tenant building. I didn't send an official report because the tenant building have been very lackluster and not a lot going on, because we started off with the year with nobody knowing where the keys were. Or the building. That was finally found about mid-year, and a small walk been done. There's a window still that's like propped up and won't shut all the way, that needs to get closed, that never got taken care of last year. Or I should say the year before, year prior. And we had an issue with the boiler, because the boiler is empty. There's no water in it, so it's not heating the building, but likely there's no water in it, so there's no pipes bursting. So since it's not being occupied, we're kind of letting it sit as it is until we can get water in and get it fixed.
What I have done, the only place in the building that's vulnerable to freezing right now, everything else is empty, is from where the water main comes up out of the floor and through the meter and to a spigot that is open. Main shut off. Everything's wrapped in heat tape, electrical heat tape. It's wrapped with insulation, and there's an extension cord running from over by the boiler to that room, and there's a thermostatically controlled outlet in there. It looks like a twofer. Anybody's done any lighting? A 2-for-1 outlet, but it has a thermostat in it. So it only works if it's below 32 degrees. So it looks like a twofer, it won't work. Strictly a thermostat. And the idea is that unless it's cold enough to actually freeze something, then the heat tank will come on, otherwise it doesn't do anything. So we are drawing absolutely zero natural gas in there right now.
So that's everything that's been going on with the.
Sponsorship, we didn't spend anything out this year.
You see it here.
Yeah,
volunteer.
you were volunteering? Do you want to help with that?
That's okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Katie was about to volunteer.
Oh, okay.
But now you can both team up on it, that'd be awesome.
Certainly.
I should interject, one of the things we talked about doing on the website is putting on a sponsor page. So we'll put up a page with all our sponsors, put an ad on the page, on the website for them.
One of the things, and I think Katie will agree with this, is before we even start talking about, we're gonna put this here and that there and everything else, we need a plan. What we've done in the past did not bring in sponsors, so we need to sit down. I am proposing anyone who is interested in input. I can speak with Heather, Katie, we can try and come up with a date where we can have a sit-down brainstorm, just to come up with ideas. No ideas would be wrong, no ideas would be right, just to come up with ideas, and then anybody who is on the committee itself can then take all the ideas, parse through it, and pull out what seems to be the most workable thing.
I would volunteer.
So, okay, so Heather and Katie, let's get together, find a date, and we'll set it up.
Just to quickly interject about the sponsorship, while there wasn't a lot of sponsorship done for this season, I would just like to point out the fact that there were some sponsors required, for some of the shows. Most particularly the comedy show had quite a bit of, sponsorship and donation. So I highly recommend, sorry to carry you under the bus, highly recommend roping Ed in to.
All I did is
It doesn't matter what the new idea is, what?
He managed to acquire something close to $1,000 in donations for the comedy show, just by walking in and talking to people on the exchange. So I would highly recommend having him available as part of that, because he does have that kind of gregarious personality.
I believe that falls under the category of no good deed goes
I didn't do anything special, just years of being in school and going door to door selling chocolates and things like that. It's just doing the footwork and getting out there and talking to people. And time, I know is a big issue. One of the reasons I didn't want to head the sponsor, I don't mind helping out, but I didn't want to head the sponsor committee. Is obviously a lot of those business hours are at the same time when I work my regular day job. So if someone has the time and would be willing to help put the footwork in, I would not mind helping.
Some people should.
So let's get back to our annual meeting, bylaws.
With the bylaws, we were going great guns until COVID started. And then we came to a screeching halt, and that is my fault. I know that since then Nancy has requested to step down from the committee, which would leave me, Ashley, and Heather at this point, which is okay. You can have a small committee, and sometimes you get more done. I will, after this bunch of meetings is done, contact the two of you and find out what's a good day to get together, get things geared back up, get all the information I have out to you, and get it hammered out, because I think we have potential to get it hammered out. We had about a third of the existing document reviewed and updated when it kind of came to a halt. We updated the mission statement. We have been determining that there's a lot of detail within the bylaws that would be better served as either policy or procedure, and that could be scheduled for an annual review rather than having to wait. And so we've been trying to kind of figure out what should be bylaws and what should be procedure and policy. The non-voting board position of emeritus was motioned and approved in March by the board, and it will be added into the bylaws. And our first emeritus was Dr. John Fishbaugh. And the finance committee was
He did this,
approved.
that's right.
And the finance committee was approved in August by the board to become a permanent committee rather than ad hoc. Future plans, I think we need an official motion to create the building repairs committee as either a permanent committee or an ad hoc committee, but we've got to get it official. Further review and revision of the 2012 bylaws, development of the policies and procedures handbook for specific lengthy items. I think that really is about it.
Okay, thank you. 50th Gala?
Well, as she said, everything came to a screeching halt. However, when we had planned it around, the season committee, we had, Chris and I, along with Paul Simonson and a few others, had started preparation. We called it the Red Carpet New Year's Gala. And it was going to be at the Depot in downtown Minot. And I put this all in the, information. So, so it depends on what our dates are and where we would want to reschedule. And we don't necessarily have to do the same thing that we were doing before. If we want to have a Halloween party instead and have our own murder mystery, we could.
Yes, all about Halloween. Yes.
I know, that's right. So, I mean, if you think about it, that's a possibility. Or it could be the night before the night of Halloween, because, it should be celebrated several days, so you can wear your outfit over and over, right?
Yeah, it could actually be the weekend prior to the weekend that's celebrated for Halloween.
So it depends on where we put our little, season stuff.
Show-wise, I think that weekend would be really kind of a great weekend.
Well, we can discuss it.
Yeah, anyway, so, once we know the season and whatever, we'll start again. And again, I don't know how many of you, John Fishpaw was coming back to be Masters of Ceremonies, and we were gonna have the seating, and then the people who were performing would just kind of come out of the woodwork, yes, out of the woodwork, and they were just then, so we didn't need a backstage, we didn't need we had the swing band lined up, or at least a part of them, for some of that. So, I mean, it was kind of a cool idea, but, I think it can be done any which way we want.
Thank you. All right, so that's our reports for the year. I'm gonna hand this to Ed and Ken. They were the election, board.
We're gonna have to check on them.
Election crew. So go ahead, do what you need to do.
All right. So luckily I got a last minute correction on how this is done. So before we actually get started, I just want to make an announcement and open the floor for this. We did not receive a lot of nominations this year, and so the people that were nominated declined to receive the position. So the current seats that are up are running unopposed. And then there's no opposition in any of these elections. So I'm going to open the floor up for anybody who wants to run, any takers for any position.
Or nominate somebody.
Under Robert's rules, you call for nominations
Okay.
twice.
So so that's the first time. So the second time now. Are there any nominations for any of the executive positions? Okay. So we'll go ahead and pass these around. So the first seat that's up for election is president. I did leave the space in there. Right.
Are all of the offices unopposed?
All of the offices are unopposed.
Yeah, we still have a vote.
It all depends upon all of the offices are the seating people.
Nope.
No, they are not.
Question was,
So for president, the nominee is Heather Spear.
Or you can write somebody in too.
So I did leave space on the slips for these to be written in
It
as
should
well.
be at least a 2-year deal.
For vice president, the nominee is Edward Montez, myself. For treasurer, the nominee is Ken Harstead. And for secretary, the nominee is Linda Nickhoff.
And you got
Hi.
Huh?
So, never mind.
I would propose a motion to accept the vote as unanimous and dispense with the formal voting.
Anybody second that?
I'll second that. There's nothing.
It's
Hang on.
just proposed that we accept the slate as stands. There's nothing in the bylaws that prohibits it.
So now you gotta say,
So the motion is for us to continue with all the seats unopposed as they are. And Holly has
To
seconded
be recorded as unanimous ballot.
to be recorded as a unanimous ballot. All those in favor?
aye.
All those opposed?
We're basically just gonna vote for whoever's on this,
For, yeah.
on all of them.
There's only
Yeah.
Yes, that is
So we're
unanimous.
voting that you don't have to do that.
So people, we're gonna write somebody and they can't do it anymore. Well, then I should not.
And we
That's,
can
yeah,
oppose it, then oppose it.
that's why I'm wondering, like, if we're just going with this, so like, if people were maybe wanting to write people, then they can't. Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Okay.
All right.
If somebody is opposing that motion, then it can pass, because that is something that would need to be unanimous.
So any opposed? She just wanted to clarify.
I just wanted to clarify what we were doing.
All right, I think the ayes have it then, so we will proceed with the board as being Heather Spears as president, Edward Montez as vice president, Ken Harstead as treasurer, and Linda Knickerbocker as secretary.
Somebody went to all the trouble to make these little things too, but.
Ooh, I got the same.
You have to do a, yeah.
Well, I guess now I need to sign the Lincoln things that we had everybody sign, dirty and all.
Lynn,
Yes.
I'll get you the materials for excited for now. So I'll get you all the materials in your files.
If you can get here, I can get here, if you're electronic.
Sure, it says, I traveled this week. Okay. So yes,
And always used to do it years ago. I have all of the ones right here electronic.
Here, thank you.
Yes.
I think we need to get.
I don't have to. Okay, so, sorry, let me go back to this. Is there anything new business for annual meeting, not monthly, annual? Okay, with that being said, we will adjourn the annual meeting at 7:31. Does anybody need a 2-minute break?
I have to go to a printer, so great. Good luck.
Come on.
Yeah. Up on your weirdos, you know.
And so, the order is 7:31.
What is it? It's the most black.
Okay, guest in attendance, we still have Kathy and Brittany sticking with us. Proxy votes, Nancy has given Lynn her proxy vote for the monthly meeting. Did everybody receive the minutes from,
Hold on.
sorry,
She has a proxy.
Chris and Chris is giving Ashley. Thank you. Did everybody receive the minutes from December?
Yes.
Any issues, questions, or motions?
Move to accept.
All the ones that the corrections were taken care of.
Okay, so Ken has motion to accept the minutes, Penny has second, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, and all those abstained? All right, motion carried, minutes passed. Treasury report, is there anything different than what we talked about?
No, pretty much the same.
Finance report.
Big figures, I need figures on the treasury.
So, okay, sorry, with the treasury report, we have Ed and Katie would like to learn the QuickBooks part of, Ed and Katie would like to learn this, so can we get a meeting set up with that pretty soon? And then before next month, please? So that they can at least understand what's going on. Always good to have a backup.
Yes.
Okay. Then, so finance report, did you have anything?
Just a couple notes from the last meeting.
You mean the one 20 minutes ago, or the one?
No, we met on the 9th.
Oh,
So we had a
okay.
meeting on the 9th.
That one.
Yeah, as soon as I opened it up. So as always, we reviewed our financial reports. We discussed doing our diligence, making sure that our financial position is transparent. We reiterated the need to establish a separate email. That has been done. All the people on the finance committee should have access to that email, and make sure everyone got sent the password from that email, from that email. So if that was confusing, that was the password for the email.
What is it for?
Yeah.
The email you received it from, that is the password. We discussed the new business such as the, being invited to submit the Council of the Arts grant. Our recent lessons learned in grant funding, voting, we talked about how the voting was going for the Shields Day of Giving, that has already been talked about in our regular board meetings. We reviewed a new report that Ken had submitted from QuickBooks that we might be using going forward for stating what our yearly and monthly financial position is. And I presented the annual meeting notes to everyone for any corrections or anything that anybody wanted to add on for something I may have missed.
Thank you.
That was it.
So committee meetings, and I know within our annual meeting, some of these went into more monthly meeting stuff, but we'll go back through them quickly. Anything new with grants?
Well, at one point, we were starting to focus on some building repair things. And then we got kind of into the whole lobby project thing, which is fine. But if there are other building repair things that you want me to write grants for, I think I've kind of lost track of that. So if you could resend that information, I can use the finance committee as kind of a platform to help you prioritize what. Should I write a grant for this for the lobby if you guys vote on that, or should I send this money more toward this house? Because there are other house or building, maybe I shouldn't say house, building repair kinds of things that I know Randy got some.
Like the basement steps.
Yeah, so we need to just get that. That's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next is the building repairs, and I didn't have him do anything with the annual meeting because it wasn't an official committee yet. So I guess we need to discuss if we want it to be a permanent committee, like a temporary, just ad hoc, now and then, and I think you have an opinion.
I think it needs to be ad hoc, a personal opinion. I don't think we have continual repairs that we are going to do monthly. I don't know that there's a budget for it, so I don't know that we need to be looking for stuff to do, but that's my opinion. If there's something that comes up, I have no problem stepping in and helping out, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with keeping it ad hoc because we could always add it as a permanent committee later on if we find that the need is there for it.
I'd kind of like to see it as a committee. Does not mean that something has to be done every month, even has to meet every month, but to have the structure there, so the meetings can be more ad hoc, but make the committee official.
I kind of like that idea. I mean, it's there. We have an account almost, for it that we're.
So it's one of those committees that you want to have. You want to have somebody who can make decisions and can share that. But they don't have to meet monthly, don't have to follow a schedule. It's repairs as needed.
In reading the bylaws, an ad hoc committee is generally one that during the course of a season or a year is only limited to a structure of several months. For example, technically the season committee should be ad hoc because it's only active for a certain number of months. The nominating committee should be ad hoc because it's only active for about 3 months during the course of the season. I see a repair committee as being more something that we're going to need even through the times when we're not meeting. That doesn't mean they have to always have 3 people on the committee or always have a structure. Or even that they need to have meetings. That kind of thing can be written into the bylaws as what the structure of the committee is. But I think the idea that it is a committee that is available when needed, rather than having to worry about setting it up after being dormant for 6 months or whatever, I think would be a good idea.
So,
With that, I would offer a motion to make the committee official on the books, duties to be ad hoc as necessary.
So structure to be ad hoc.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Either of us.
Yeah, a second, that's pretty good. Repair committee would be a permanent committee.
So
Oh,
three of us.
Oh, I didn't see.
Let's
give it to Ashley.
Let's give it to Ashley.
Okay, so Ashley has second. Okay, but this will be a permanent committee with more of an ad hoc structure. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? All those abstain? I didn't see what you did. I'm sorry.
I abstained with that.
Two abstain.
You want to be ad hoc.
And of course, the president appoints the chairman.
That's fun.
Better point, Ken.
So with that, the motion has passed. And right here, it's still the chair?
Yeah.
Okay, and Ken is still the chair. Okay, perfect. Oh, he's
Co-chairs sound better.
Social media.
One point there, quickly. Who do you know of that are working with you currently on the committee? Just so that everybody knows.
Oh.
I
Well,
know Tim was on the committee, he's more than happy to work with
yeah,
you. He's an outsider type of thing.
yeah, so the people who showed up to the billing committee were Ken, yourself, Tim, and Ed. If I missed anybody.
Are those people willing to be on the committee?
I mean,
You do not want to be on the
No,
committee?
I'm willing to show up to some of the
Alright.
meetings and help with input, but I'm trying not to stretch myself out too thin.
And if I'm picking up
Especially now that
sponsorship,
you
it'll
have
be the same
sponsors.
thing, I'll be there to help, but.
no, that's fine. I don't know that since it was never an official committee that we ever got, official participants, so.
I'll put Randy, Ken, and Tim down for now. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. I would, like I had mentioned during our annual meeting, I want to push up kind of our presence on social media again. And I would like to start that with first night. What rehearsal times do you?
We are meeting almost every single time at 5 p.m.
Is it like every day?
No, I can give you our schedule, but it's very random.
That's
Just
yeah.
whatever works. But
Yeah, work for.
Okay, and that's fine. I just want to come in and take some video footage to be able to put together a video to promote it. So if you've got even a couple days that you're like, yes, this would be a good day for you to come in. Even if you just want to send me an email or text
Sure,
or
picture of the
Yeah.
scheduling.
that'll be perfect. And just let me
I would
know.
like to put that on the website.
Absolutely. That way we can get that rolling, but I wanna do a good job with it, and I don't wanna be like last minute trying to hustle it together. And then in the future, and I will bring a proposal closer to the start of our next season, I would like to run some promotions, and some giveaways like we've done in the past. We've had this year off, and I would like to be able to try and encourage people to get excited, and one of the ways to do that is to do giveaways. We've had a lot of success with giveaways in the past, and I would like to be able to push that into our next season to really kind of hype up and get people excited for that. But I will draw up an actual proposal. I just wanted to put it out there that able to come in down the pipe.
So I'd actually asked Heather, why wait? Why not start now? You know, for the shows that we have. I don't know what we have the rest of the time, but, you know, I think to try and get people back to the theater,
Yep.
doing a 2-for-1 ticket or, you know, a pre-sale, you know, give them a discount off. I don't know if, but I think something like that to say, hey, you know, we are still here, you know, come and see us. And
Yeah.
I mean, we lower our prices to $10, so I don't know that we're gonna be making much money on there, but I think it's getting people back in here, seeing what we're doing, seeing that we are cleaning, and getting that, I don't know, the confidence to know that, hey, they're doing what they need to, so.
Yeah.
Catherine?
Given the topic of first night, I was thinking that Beyonce might be a good potential sponsor.
Here's the other thing is that, Beyonce right down the way, you know, that I heard.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe we could come up with,
That would be easy.
right, that maybe that.
I'm just on the social media side of things. You just tell me what to post. I'll post it. But but yeah, and if you do want to go with something like a 2-for-1, I mean, first night's perfect for that. It's a couple's show. It's a romantic show. Like, bring a loved one. Bring someone you don't love.
Bring your friend that you're too afraid to ask.
This may or may not associate with that whole thing, but we did have at least one couple ask about when we were going to go back to having reservations for shows. And I know there was at least one other inquiry on another time. And so,
I was actually talking to Randy about this, and I have no problem with selling tickets for the show in advance. Like, I think we can have a cutout, and I think it'll help our, bring a few more
so
people
I
because.
think box office and the director and whoever's interested maybe should kind of gather heads together and just get reestablished with our reservation situation.
I can very easily bring that back up. Yeah.
From the social media standpoint, since that is where we put out most of our information, just let me know if we are doing advanced ticket sales so that I can, put that in the events and then really hype that we're doing it. I do think we'll see an increase in people coming.
I think that would help. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay, I do have one comment on box office, and we do have to, we can take two options. We can stay with arts people just like we have, or we can look elsewhere. There is another option, it's called Ticketor. They just recently added season passes. They don't call it flex passes, but that's basically what it is. They also do have a platform for selling online shows,
Which would have been great.
which would have been great if they knew about it early enough, but I found out that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So with that, Ken, are you able to adjust your seating chart easier than you are with arts people?
Actually, what I'll do is use the existing seating chart and just block off every other row. Just reserve it, just put holes on them.
Do you need a box office? I'd be happy to be on.
Hey,
If we want to take a look at another system,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know of any systems.
we can set up a demo
Yeah,
and go through it. I think we can set up a formal demo and you can walk through it.
would you accept me as your?
You, absolutely.
I understand.
Yeah, but I think, it is definitely something we need to look into, get the information on. And then compare and contrast and figure out which is gonna work for us. But maybe not worry about instituting it until next year, simply to finish this season out and.
Maybe this summer.
I was thinking that probably the smart thing to do is if we're gonna make a switch, do a vendor show.
Yeah.
Number for that.
You said that the new program or something's called Ticket Tour,
Ticket tour.
like ticket.
Like
Or-
ticket or R. Ticket
Okay, Ticket Tour.
Ticket tour.
So can you scan mobile passes? Like you did with the arts people, you can
Oh,
scan
the
the mobile
tickets.
pass. And
Yeah.
So is there a app that works better on Ticket Tour versus arts
Yes,
people
I do
only works
believe-
on iPhones?
I do believe so, yes.
Well, this is all the information that we need to glean and then present.
It also works with PayPal. So we can use the chip reader.
Next one, the past and upcoming shows, so as Brittany, addressed in the annual meeting, those. Oh, sorry, I don't know, I'm not.
No, that's good.
I'm like, wait, that doesn't see that. Okay, now, upcoming shows, well, let's go back to January, signing show, go ahead.
Yeah, we just finished that one yesterday, so, how much was in the cash deposit? 350. Okay.
It's about another 58 something in the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was $60, I wanna say 58.
58, 38.
38, yeah, 38.
58, 38.
That was,
For credit card.
I just won't.
dropped in the account from PayPal. That has been transferred.
Okay, cool. And then,
So that would make 35, 41 attendance.
$58.38.
and then popcorn was really big. So I say we keep that on. We got 7 grand concessions, which is not a whole lot of volunteers.
Yeah,
for the show.
Yeah.
So with that, I think we need to have an all volunteer to put something together. Ken, I know we've talked about it, but to figure out and straighten up the light booth.
Yep.
And the to-do and how to run the light booth and where the ins and outs are.
Yep,
That was-
procedures manual.
What?
Man, I know Lynn's been working on that for years.
No, it's begged for it.
So, I mean, what happened Friday night shouldn't have happened,
Yeah.
but it happened and we need to fix it so it doesn't happen again. And
Somehow
I mean-
it's got unplugged.
somebody unplugs one thing or one
Yeah.
moves it to this outlet, it doesn't pick up and.
No, from the wall.
Well,
Yeah.
who's pulling on the?
I don't know,
It
but
could have gotten
Yeah,
detached with
so-
somebody walking by.
I mean, I'm not trying to point any fingers, I'm just saying, this happened, it happened during the show,
oh.
and unfortunately, it was signing show. But to have it not happen again,
Yeah.
a procedure manual, okay, this is what you need to check, because Tim and I were like, and it's not like we're new to this theater, but we're like, what the heck do we do? Like, where do we check? And so I had to call Ken, and Ken came down.
But
How
luckily, luckily, the lights for my show were super easy. It was literally just going from blackout to spotlight. So instead we went blackout to these guys.
Not so much on my show, so we gotta make
Yeah.
sure it's working.
That's why we
Yeah.
definitely need the lights working
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
And we also need to have some better instructions and whatever is needed regarding any kind of uploading onto the computers. Because 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Problems with the upload.
So,
So,
Andy, yeah, you and I work on it. Anybody else want to be involved?
well, only 2 people can fit in that booth, so.
At a time.
I mean, the only other,
I'm willing to help put out some ideas,
The
to
only
make sure
other-
with organizing, coordinating.
the only other thing I could think of is the stenographer.
Oh, yeah, which I can come down and type while you guys.
And, I mean, I do know that Tim's interested in having the knowledge, but again,
Yeah.
yeah,
Me too, but I don't want you to fix it before I have to
Well,
write it.
one thing is, I think, I want to go through that rat's nest.
Oh,
Right.
Down there.
So the
Find
next-
everything,
the next
there's
thing-
cords that aren't connected on either end, or not connected on
well,
one
but
end.
that's not something
Get rid of
we need to
them.
discuss.
Yeah, well,
Things.
Okay, so the next show is the February show, which is 11th through the 14th. I need more volunteers for that show than we had on the last one, so please.
Me.
Yeah, I'm not
I'll be
saying,
clear,
everybody did.
You want it up on the,
Need more.
you want it up for advanced sales?
We do want it up for advance sales.
You know, I think we should check on the high third, see if we can get like, either a coupon thing, or maybe they would like to, you know, be part of the giveaway, you know, or something. I mean, they're right down the street and they're brand new, and
And you know what would be cool? If we have like flower box or.
Oh, it's another.
Have flowers.
Flower box.
Flower box, or, well, I don't know if they're part of downtown, but,
Flower Central.
Flower Central.
That's what I meant to say, Flower Central. Either one.
If they were still good, which, that would place around it, before for a sponsor, but.
But anyways, so
Katie, do you want to look into, some possible sponsors that could donate, giveaway items or something?
Yeah.
And maybe you want to sponsor the show.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, or, you know, if there's
Marry
a,
me.
you know, coupon, I could call Jessica.
Okay, but we have 2 actors that are doing it, it's Justin and Janet Anderson. Randy and Ken are gonna tag team the lights and figure that out, right? And sound and stuff for me, you're gonna teach all that
Do you need to go backstage?
stuff? Well, they're
I
on
don't think anybody ever
stage,
goes
like
backstage.
99% of the time, but,
You can usher.
okay, that'd be great, we'll
If you're
send
still
something
looking
out.
for prop situations, Brittany and I.
Okay, perfect, yeah, keep shooting emails, I think I'm
Are you
gonna try to
doing
have a work
VHS
call
around?
soon.
VHS boxes,
How am I doing that?
yeah, have you
I
got
got
any?
quite a few from Holly, and then I heard Marcus.
There's a
got
batch in there, you're going to need to be
some.
returned,
Yeah,
so,
we'll mark them.
but if you, again.
And I don't think it would be hard to build them out of postboard. And I might even just grab a box from over there and take it apart so I can map that out and see if it
Yeah,
works.
that's cool.
And then you can just print something off and slap it on.
Fill in the stuff.
What about throw that out on, our kids thing that, you know, to see if there's anybody who has VHS.
Does anybody
So-
know the manager, the video manager, or?
Well, we
Yeah.
are contact.
Okay.
I've been down that road and he got rid of everything.
So the one thing we are looking for is a couple movie posters. Both Park Theater said they didn't have any available, or didn't have any, is what he said.
And they're from the 80s, right?
Anywhere from like 1990 before.
Should be able to maybe get that.
I might have something that is,
So if you see.
I collected stuff like that,
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
they're in my cedar chest.
Oh, really? That'd be
I'll
good.
look and see what I've got.
It
They're
says
just a-
1987.
They're just a post right there on the counter.
But it mentions things that didn't start until 95.
Right.
Okay, so
I'll
then
look and see what
the
I've
next
got.
thing is March 6th, we have purchased the rights for the Pink Panther, the 1963. So March 6th, we'll need some popcorn poppers and some So,
I will have popcorn.
thank you. I will send some of that.
I'd be happy to take them.
We're gonna have 2 shows. Sorry.
That would be a free will donation anyway.
That's all you know, but for the, cans. I'm just not good at touching popcorn.
Oh.
They don't generally work afterwards.
April show is Tim's Life Spirit, and I had 15, 16, 17, 18, just off of Tim's email. Do we know if that's right?
15 through 18,
Yes.
I believe.
Okay, perfect.
4 days? Yep.
Yes. We
Okay.
used to run 4 days until
Oh,
we
yeah.
went to 2 weekends, so we're just going to take the 4 days and 1 weekend.
It's kind of like the final.
Some people like to come on Thursday.
For some.
And then May, we have the radio show, but I haven't heard dates.
Biggest thing with the Life Spirit in February 20th, 22nd, and 23rd will be auditioning.
Oh,
No,
audition.
auditioning for roles that are not returning. February 20th, 22nd, and 23rd.
We'll make sure we announce that.
Do you know which roles will apply?
We are not entirely sure yet. We're still waiting, we do know for certain, that the main male role, Charles will need to be recast.
Okay, so first on.
That is one we're
Is Laura?
He's not gone, there are 2 easy no roles. He has bowed out. Possibly.
Huh?
He has bowed out.
Oh, okay,
So
got it.
he's chosen not to. So we do, if you know of a male, younger-ish, but doesn't have to be particularly young. It's good to memorize, right? Bradley did it the first time. Right, no, I'm not saying that it has to be young, but based on a current cast. Different needs of our cast.
Younger.
Younger versus older would be
Lecturer.
better, but,
How old are you in?
somebody who can memorize lines in a short period of time.
He's gonna be good.
The radio show I had down for May 15th, and if we decide to have a second show, I go with the matinee on the 16th.
Okay, thank you.
That will be a free will donation as well.
That was fun for someone else.
And I hope it's gonna be funny this time.
All right, perfect. So is there any
I will be calling.
problems, issues with that, with those, shows going forward? I think we'd already discussed them at the beginning of the season, but just wanted to make sure everybody is on board.
Do we want to put out a postcard to our patrons, or do we want to put on a newsletter now that we got some
Just
dates?
the newsletter would probably be
Probably
good.
do.
Newsletter, Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, house, do you have anything else?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you. Concessions, nothing new. I don't think.
Popular.
Yeah, good idea. Youth program,
I'm kind of looking at maybe having like 4 Saturdays, some acting workshops. I'm not sure. I had down possible, like February 20th, maybe March 6th, 20th, 27th.
Well,
That's
March
possible.
6th is the movie,
Okay, so you want that
and
one.
the 20th is the auditions. February 20th is auditions.
but if it's in the morning, like
Yeah,
my.
if it's in the
morning,
morning,
it would probably be okay.
Yeah.
Katie would like to be on this committee as well, so we need to
Oh, okay.
make sure we send her
All right.
emails too.
You're on the committee.
Yeah.
Any, oh,
We
I
did
did,
pay the deposit on the Zola Children's Theater, right?
right, yes, I have received.
And the dates on that?
June 7th through the 12th, and I did go to about 7 banks today, and SRT, and Edward Jones, and, I don't know. Anyways, looking for sponsors today. They all said, that they would give me a call back, after they reviewed it with their group or whatever, but some of them, actually, Bremer sounded the most really enthused about it, like that he might do it. But several of them sounded like that they might donate, so I'm gonna give it a week before I start calling it bugging them, but.
What's the show?
Johnny Appleseed, yeah. So that week could use some hands too, just,
Yeah, I'll help out.
like us. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, we're getting out there, I have little half sheets like this, and it just has our contract so that the bank can see, or not bank, so that the people can see
what we paid so that they can kind of, decide what they can give. Because they asked for what, kind of monetary need we had into it. So then also just a little flyer saying, call me at this number, when the dates are, what it is. So if you have somebody that you're like, I think they might sponsor, I'd be happy to let you do. But, after the banks, I hear back from the banks, they'll continue to look for other sponsors if we haven't met our need. If we do meet our need of the $3,000, whatever, I would like to then address the idea of how much we are charging the kids, but we'll talk about that after we meet our goal, right? So, we'll just hope we can. All right, anything else on?
Nope.
Okay, so I'll let you,
I'll carry on with
sounds
that.
good. Newsletter. I know one was sent out, last week. Right?
Yeah, as long as I've got some stuff to put in it, it only takes me half an hour or so to put it together.
Okay, perfect.
Just a point of factor here, newsletter, you've got Holly, Brittany, Ashley, Penny. Is there anybody either missing or not, you don't want to be on that committee? Please, or you can.
Ken should be on the
Penny, are you
committee.
still on the list?
Ashley, are you still on it? Okay, cool. All right, so I got Ken, Holly, Ashley, Penny.
Okay.
Good.
So if you guys have something that you want to write up, other than,
If you want to write something, you don't have to be on the committee to do it.
No, we have something. Or you know of something, like, it's not like Abby's play and stuff was MRP based, it's just that she is involved.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
part of
she's-
it.
that's the thing, if there's somebody that you know that's part of our theater.
Well,
that's-
and we still have one interview yet to go. I'm assuming you still have it.
One point that somebody, I don't know who made it, but somebody who came to one of the shows made a comment that it's nice having content and things like that, but they really would like some information, like when things are happening.
Usually we lead with that.
Well, whatever it was, the one that they had seen, they did not see things to be able to anticipate coming to us.
Oh.
So that might be something to make sure it's really, really
And
common.
that's something that's definitely going to be on the website.
Well, you must have some information.
Yeah, this could go, right away, and then you could put Chris's opinion, we're not on a set schedule.
Okay. Is there anything else? Fundraising?
Another name. Well, and I'll get back with you.
Fundraising,
Donation.
Contact
I'm gonna talk to Papa
Applebee's,
John's.
Applebee's, Taco John's, Culver's,
Paradiso.
Paradiso, Starving Rooster.
I can tell you that Paradiso is doing theirs very differently than they used to be. You have to you have to pass out wristbands to the people at Paradiso now as opposed to just having a flyer. So Paradiso might not be the best for us because we don't have like a large enough group that we see on a regular basis to be like, here, take this wristband. So that was a major change for
Anyway, people, if anybody who knows of a place that does an easy fundraiser.
Starving Rooster was the easiest and the best money, monetary.
Right,
And there's
But
one
that's
that
like-
we're never doing again.
Like,
but it's like the chicken buffet by Walmart is something where we had to
We won't eat
actually
there.
work.
Yeah.
But there are a number of
We
places,
haven't
if we all can send suggestions to Siding so she can look them up, they're easy as pie, and then if we put them into the program, if we get it set up so that it happens a couple of days after the program, we can put it in the program, and people then can see that it's happening, and then they will go for it.
Sonia, I'd also like to make a suggestion to maybe send out an email like quarterly and have a brainstorming session.
Okay.
Because I know when Heather started that, when she first started, she was doing that and a lot of ideas came from it.
I will try and reach out to our PTA. person because Bel Air does a ton of these fundraisers, like with Tom John's, and we just did one for Culver's today, and like all these places. I'll try and reach out to our PTA president and see if she can.
Buffalo Wild Wings does one too, but I tried getting a hold of Wings and Rings to do it, and they never responded, so they might not do that.
But I think they're under new management in the past few years, so that might be a candidate.
Wild Wings also gets swamped. Yeah, they just absolutely annihilated with requests.
Season, this is where I was going with the last one. So like Brittany said earlier, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know what you were going to say. So, I mean, there's really not a whole lot of updates from what I talked about during our annual meeting, and just anticipating having a firmer plan in place for our season come March, April timeframe, when we just have a better gauge on where things are going in the world.
We have noticed that we really push this season, the idea of trying to have a poster done and ready prior to the opening of the show before. And obviously you can't do it all the time, but we have noticed that there are a lot, anybody that comes to the show is definitely noticing. So any director or of anything, an event or whatever, if you, once we get going, if you can get the poster created so we can get it printed up prior to the opening of whatever event is happening beforehand, it is to our benefit.
Earlier the better,
No, because we don't necessarily want to look too early.
as long as we know for sure, I mean, at least to be able to put it on the website.
Well, I have gotten into some theaters where they'll have the posters from the whole time of year out there.
But they also hire a professional person.
You also do run the risk of people going, oh, I've seen it already, and then they don't pay attention to it. So if it's something that's happening in May, but I've seen it every time I come into the theater, I'm gonna forget about it and I'm not gonna look at it again.
And a lot of times people want to have the
It's that
colors of the poster, in which case it's really hard.
Video is all.
Is that it? Yes, sir. Tenant building.
Like I said, we had issues with the boiler, so nothing new there. There's a window that still won't close all the way. This week I'm looking to get to Menards anyways, so I'm gonna try and pick up some solid foam board to stick in there so that, you know, it'll.
Not sure it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, not sure it makes a lot of difference.
The only thing that's at risk is the water,
But this is
about
an
3
open
feet of
window.
water
Yeah.
line.
This is an open window, and if it
Yeah.
snows or rains.
Yeah.
It'll keep out.
It's not an issue for heat.
Yeah. It'll help keep the outside. And then possibly in the spring, maybe looking at getting it replaced, so we can be repaired.
Sponsorship, so we have a new chair put in, thank you. And then would anybody like to join that committee with her so that she knows who to contact? Katie. Ashley, did you reach me?
Yep, she did. Really, can I follow in with sponsorship committee for ideas? Yeah, I'll talk to her later. Come to the meeting.
So all I have is Lynn, Ashley, and Katie, was there somebody else? Kathy, thank you.
But she's not necessarily wants to be on the committee, but she wants to be on the brainstorm.
Right?
Well,
So far.
We'll see, we'll see. And I will try and get with those four and then figure out what's gonna be a good day. And we'll sit down and we will brainstorm and we will just come up with ideas.
Thank you guys. Bylaws?
What I said during the.
Same
And
before.
Nancy's no longer on the
And
bylaws.
Nancy is no longer on the
Okay,
bylaws.
thank you. Okay, old business, additional property. New business, here we go.
Wait, we missed the gala.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said.
Well, it is,
before.
it's since before, but do you want me to start a call, Jessica Ackerman, and see about some dates around Halloween? Or should we just wait? Well, we were kicking it around, or should we just wait until the dates are set for the
Just
season
wait.
meeting?
So at least the dates are set, then you know.
Then we know where we're
what
at.
we're
Okay, so that's what we'll do.
All right, Randy, what do you have?
Okay, so last month we had Paul from Ackerman join us over Zoom. And you did have, there was two options, Plan A and Plan B, I guess.
You need to see him again and pass this around.
We pass that around. I guess we need to try and decide which route we want to go. There is a difference. I got feedback from Lynn, and now that's it. So,
I like Plan B better because you didn't have the bathrooms on the front.
no, there's
Is
Plan,
that A?
that's Plan A, so.
No, Plan A has them over in the corner.
Yeah.
In the corner where the library is.
I preferred, that we didn't go outside of it.
He has them where they currently are, but.
Yeah. That's the one that I kind of, it's just less, and it gets cold on the front if we actually have cold weather, Nothing
This
worse than
whole
a
thing will
bathroom.
include a new heating system.
I
Or the-
had
So hate to have a cold twist.
I had several, I preferred option B. I did forward several reasons why. One in particular is having the windows be accessible directly into seeing the lobby so that it's curb appeal. People going by can look in if something's going on and go, oh, that looks interesting. The Plan A blocks those windows off from the lobby. I like the bathrooms to stay in their vicinity because even though Paul kept saying it wasn't a major cost, there is still additional cost in moving them to the other place. Also, he did specify it would mean 2 to 3 additional days of work by moving those. That could conceivably be more cost because you're paying the contractors more. I like the idea that the box office is connected to the office because if for some reason there is a need for an additional person to help, they're right there in the office. And things can also be researched and stuff like that, rather than having to run across the lobby for any kind of emergency or meeting other people. Those are probably the 3 major reasons that I like option B.
So if we're all saying our options, I just have a question. With the remodel stuff, would we be getting a different type of door to here?
No, so,
Because with the way, people leave the show, those doors get really loud sometimes as people would go out to the bathroom if the bathroom is not.
They can always be felt in.
I
They just never
I noticed that part a lot, but when
So-
you're in the booth, you see how many people sneak out to go to the bathroom, and you hear that door and all the time.
yeah, so in both options, the bathrooms are on
Are
the
outside.
outside.
And so I was just
So-
wondering if the doors would
Yeah,
be changed
no,
at all to
No, but that's something we can
quiet
look at
door.
doing.
We can quiet them, I think.
We can quiet them, and if it doesn't resolve the issue to something we're happy with, we can always replace them on our own. Or hire a professional to come replace them,
Or put in a hydraulic.
something, right?
So my opinion is I like option A. I don't like okay, so first I like the idea of a nice open lobby for everybody. Especially after COVID and stuff, people can spread out, I don't like the idea of walking in and the first thing you see is the bathrooms. I find that to be almost an eyesore, you walk in and there's the bathrooms instead of walking in and you see the ticketing office or you see, just a nice open area. Those are my 2 reasons really. I just like the more open and not the bathrooms right there. So,
Okay. I agree about the bathrooms. I don't want to see the bathrooms the first thing when you walk in. Find that is bad.
A lot of people, that's a big plus.
Yeah. Knowing that they're there is.
It's big, yeah.
No, I don't want the bathroom door to be the very first thing you see as you walk in the door. I do not like the idea on option B that there is no access to the concession stand through the lobby. To me, that completely defeats the purpose of why, you know, when I originally proposed this, that was the one thing that was important to me. Without that, I'm not interested, frankly. With option A, the first thing you see when you walk in the door is you're gonna see the ticket booth. And you're gonna see a lobby that's some 700 square feet. A nice, big lobby.
With option A, you have the option of having concessions both in here and out there.
Exactly.
Like, we can still have a half door, we can still have an open window, you don't have to walk out to get concessions. But you have that option to be out in the lobby, spread out, not cramped right here during intermission, or even before. You smell popcorn, you walk in, you get your ticket and you're half hour early, sit and eat your popcorn or something, you know what I mean? Like, it's an option out there, but.
I am concerned with the concession being out in that area of possible congestion in that little area. Because, the window that was meant, that I'm trying to measure, that I'm seeing in the diagram, seems like it's only big enough to really service one person at a time, which means there would have to be a line which potentially could back up and collide with the line at the box office.
And, I mean, this, talking about congestion, leaving it
A
back
major
there.
part of the
Guarantee
congestion
it's
that
gonna be
happens back
congestion.
there is due to the ladies waiting to get into the bathroom.
Right, which I don't think if the bathrooms are way over there, we're gonna have as much congestion, you
And
know.
that's the
go
other
out,
thing, I
one
guess,
turns
is
over.
separate the lines from the bathroom and the concessions.
Concessions, yeah.
Separate them.
If the concession stays in here, they would be separate.
I think with either idea, we'll have access to the concessions.
Okay, so do we need to vote on whether we want to do the project and start the fundraising first before we decide which one we like best anyway?
So I believe we've already,
Have we voted
We've
on it?
already put money on it.
because we
Oh,
already
okay.
spent 4,000 on the drawings.
Okay, all right, I'm just checking.
So now we need to determine A or B, because Kathy would love to start, you know, doing the grant writing. So we need to give her that opportunity to be doing it. Right now, Will.
She needs a plan to put out there for right.
So,
Is
so
there a
we're not able to
possibility of
do
problem?
like the 3D drawings of what we decide to do. So that might help in fundraising as well, and also with the grants for Kathy to say, this is what we are hoping for. Then we've put in our legwork. This is what it's going to cost. This is a 3D drawing of either A or B, and here it is. Then people can look and say, okay, yes, they have it. This is, obviously they're vested in it and they're working towards it. So, I think Kathy can back that up, that that's part of what she needs to move forward, so.
Let's see, so with two options, I'm not sure. Yeah. Yes.
But I'm a little concerned with the heated plans, that perhaps if we are going to have a vote, we might want to do something like sending our vote by email, so that there's no friction of.
Would you like to send your emails? I will send out an email. Is everybody, I guess we should vote on if this is okay.
That's my motion is.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor of sending me their vote on Plan A or Plan B, say aye.
Aye.
All those All right, so I will send out an email right as soon as the meeting's over. Then everybody can have their own vote. Everybody. Is there any more questions, though, those that are looking it over, or
We just have.
opinions, or thoughts, or those that didn't get a chance?
We'll text you.
Oh, you can text me your vote too, it's fine.
When, I would like to see an email sent out on this, re-improve plans again, so that everyone can, maybe I can know before submitting. And that way, and maybe including a deadline of it.
Please do not do it with why all we vote.
Yes, please don't do that.
That will defeat the whole purpose of
Yeah.
this.
Okay, I will do that, thank you. Lynn, my notables?
After the My Notables show, Jay Jenkins, who's pretty much in charge of them, asked if it might be possible to rent rehearsal space twice a month from MRP. I have not been in touch with him further as of this point. Seem to be crossing paths all the time. The Finance Committee discussed it, thought that we could do it as a contractual situation where they would be able to rent either the lounge or the rehearsal room twice a month. And we came up with the potential of $25 per night. That would be $50 for the month. I have not, as I say, spoken with Jay to find out if this is agreeable to them, but kind of presenting it to the board, if for a yes or no, should I proceed to approach Jay on it with that possibility.
One of the things we did discuss at the finance committee about it is that this would be a test run for anything like this, since we haven't done it before. And obviously, we don't want to open up the floodgates to be obligated to be renting out small space for rehearsal to everybody and everything. So obviously, this is, something that we're gonna try and maintain. We know most people in Notables there, frequent performers on our stage, and I think this would be a good way to help bolden that connection. Maybe help bring my Notables into the fold to perform here more often. And this is a chance to kind of test run that.
So if I could just get some generalized opinions, I can go to Jay. And
I like it.
Okay. Are we okay with this $25 per rental sound?
Very reasonable.
Then I will take it to Jay and then say, hey, this is what we're proposing, how do you feel about it?
I'll make the motion that we do that.
I'll second.
Okay, Katie has motion, Franny second, that we offer $25 a night for my notables. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstain? All right, motion carried, thank you, Lynn. Okay, Lynn, again, battery operated vacuum, stick vacuum.
Holly brought this to my attention when we were cleaning up the popcorn. There wasn't a big amount of mess, but it was not enough to pull out the big vacuum, but it was a pain in the butt to have to sweep up. And she suggested we invest in a battery operated stick vacuum, which is, they're Dyson, Hoover, Bissell, I mean, there's all kinds of
They're
them.
about
No, they aren't, because I found ones at Walmart. Bissell was 118, Hoover was 128, Timco Dash was 149, and the highest priced one that wasn't going over 300 was 279 for a Sharpie.
Sharp's good.
I mean, we're not gonna use it a lot. It's gonna be, oh, somebody spilled something, get it out. Zoom, 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 zoom.
It's just, it's a convenience. It could be kept and plugged in the concession stand, and then at the end, you pull it out and.
So
zip it
to
up.
that, I think we will use it a lot.
I think so.
So with that, I think we will use it a lot.
He just said that.
I know, I don't know if everybody heard me. So if you didn't hear me, I think we will use it a lot. I mean, if we're gonna use the popcorn every machine, every
Every show.
Listen, holy smokes.
toast.
He's having a stroke.
Do you smell toast?
I've been wearing this thing too long.
I know.
Do you
Yeah.
smell toast inside your mask?
Anyway, I think it'd be worthwhile to get a decent one. It's gonna last, over time, so that's my,
Especially if kids and pop.
yes, because you'll use it every night after the show with popcorn.
So should I go ahead and invest in the $379 shard?
Why don't you test them all, or I suppose they're in the box.
They're in the
Right,
box,
throw them
'cause it's
into-
kind of, I mean, I can pick them up if they're even attached to the.
So Lynn,
Yeah.
Lynn, can I do some review digging for you?
By all means.
Okay,
It was a good idea, I went
Yeah.
out and I tried to get at least some pricing. I know when I priced off of Amazon, yeah, you could find a couple that were $89, but,
yeah.
they weren't even, name brands. And some of them go up to $500, but I'm not really sure we want that.
I don't know that we need that extreme.
Yeah,
So we have a promotion or anything of how much we could spend, or,
well, if Randy
Just wait.
wants to do a little bit more research, let's find out what he can find out. It's not like we need it immediately.
Sounds good. Ken, is it your turn?
Yeah, the boiler in the basement, as we just said a couple of times, it's dead. He did say that
Basement here, or? No,
in the
okay.
the apartment building, if we wanted to try to resurrect it, because we're looking at probably at least $2,000 just to find all the leaks and fix them. Because the pipes some of the registers are broken. I think what happened is that we had a freeze up in early October, and I think it burst the pipe, and there wasn't we didn't have a flood because water was turned off, but it drained the boiler. As soon as the boiler went dry, it shut off, it's done. Frankly, if we could find a buyer for the building, I would advocate that very strongly. Selling it as is, I have no idea. I mean, we talked about that. I would like to see that pursued. I don't see that we have any great use for it. It's used for some storage.
Could be
You want to see if
classrooms,
Aisha could come
but
look at it and see what it would be worth?
but we don't need it.
We don't need it now, and we can't, the cost of renovating it enough to use classrooms.
Yeah.
There's no heat.
The floors are.
And
The
the
floor is
toilets.
a mess, there's no bathrooms.
There's paint
The
in
electrical system is, who knows? There's outlets at work, there's some that do, some that don't. I think it would be really a good idea to just try to find a way to unload it.
Okay.
However
Collation.
that's done. I understand that what's the place? Regency Event Center is supposedly for sale, and there was some talk of selling the building to Regency, or as part of that deal.
They're not very easy to work with.
But they would be, the whole point of that was if that happens, it'd be for the owners.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the people that are running now.
Would we get our parking lot?
And that's,
Well,
and that-
that belongs
This
to.
meeting is being recorded.
Cool.
it's a possibility. And if we could, if we sold the building, maybe that could be part of the negotiations, that we could get use of the parking lot. Which would be a lot more valuable to us than what the apartment building
Yes. Okay.
It would be great.
is. So I'd like to see it pursued.
Ken, you're in.
Oh yeah, Dropbox. We have a Dropbox account. Anybody who doesn't know what it is a shared folder. It's one that Kathy and I own, Kathy owns.
I own it, he pays for them.
See how that works in a household.
It's a
basically, we've got some shared folders on there. I can do one of two ways. I can either share the entire folder. If I do that, I've done that for the web development. There's two subfolders. There's web development and there's an also players folder. The web development one is used primarily for things like newsletter articles, anything that goes on the web, any kind of materials that we put on the web. It's slightly different. It was initially a slightly different group. But what I can do on the other one is just, I can share the entire folder. Once I do that, if I share it with all the board members, you'll have access to read things from it or add things to it.
Really helpful, my job.
So, or if you want just read-only access, I can send you a link to the folder.
I guess the question would be, what kind of information is left to be in the
Bylaws, procedures manuals, minutes, any reports, anything like that would go in there. Any kind of documents that we want to share with everybody, rather than emailing it to everybody, it's there. It's in one place. You go get it.
No more searching for emails.
No more searching for it. You won't have to search through emails for it. You just go look it up.
Yeah, you look it up, and the more you use it, the more you start looking there. But even if you want to email copies to everyone, you have one repository for the computer. So you don't have to worry that it's my computer or Lynn's computer or somebody else's computer. It's there in the cloud.
Sounds good.
So I will email, if it's okay, I'll email links to everybody that, unless you tell me you don't want it.
Then you just bookmark it.
All right, so, Jonah Lanto, from Good Talk, they do Good Night Live, reached out to me last week. They're interested in doing another Good Night Live show here. It was originally asking for March 6th, but obviously that didn't work. We have that movie going on. We said it was available for March 13th. I already spoke to him. He said he's fine with going with the contract we had last time. This is the contract we had last time. I'll pass it around if anybody wants to take a look at it. Pretty much we would be receiving $300 for the theater for them renting it out for that day, a couple hours a day. So
Same contract as last time?
Same contract as last time. They're currently looking at, they're doing it, they want to do limited seating with everything that's going on. I believe the current capacity, they say 50%, so they're looking at 100 seats, which should be less than 50% of our max capacity. But
That is just, is one left out from White. Please include Tim about what his rehearsal schedule
yes,
might be.
I already spoke with them.
Is $300 enough?
That's what we were doing before, because it's a little higher than our normal 250. Just because it was a very popular show. And we wanted to see if they could do it for 300. They said that's perfectly fine, plus they're willing to play base items for anybody from our board that needs to come in, because obviously we require someone to be there, so that's $50 stipend for that person, $50 to run lights, sound, and another $100 stipend for.
I mean, should it be more?
I think it's probably okay.
I think 300 is okay because they're going to be pulling in less due to the limited seating.
And they know that there's limited seating, they can't.
Yes.
It out this way.
Yes, I spoke to him. He said that the most he wants to do with what's everything that's going on right now is 100 seats, and then the 3 tables they have in front. But those are sold as a separate package, so all those people are going to be in close contact, will know each other. They are familiar with what they're getting into.
Just for the record, 100 seats in here is pretty much every other row, the whole amount. So there would not be 6-foot distancing.
And I was thinking we could do alternating, like an alternating pattern, like a checkerboard pattern.
Yeah.
So that's something that I will be going to discuss with Jonah when we decide. So I'd like to put it to a motion if you're going to continue to host the event.
And everything is okay with Glen's group?
Yes, I asked him, he said there's not going to be any issues with his rehearsals.
I'll second it. Didn't you put it out?
He's asking.
I could,
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make the motion. And I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstain? Okay, motion carried. Recorded skits?
Getting care of the next skits. We, Ed and I are gonna kind of tag team it. When I found out there's one, we're gonna do one every month, I thought, you know, I'd share the love.
What?
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett.
So we, between the two of us, we did decide to do auditions. We'll do auditions, and if we don't get anybody, then we'll start asking people, because I'm sure there's people out there that would do it if they didn't audition. So,
we did have a little brainstorm session last Tuesday, and our, kind of one of our goals, maybe we'll see, would be to try to get one out as early as February. We can't guarantee it, but that's kind of what we're gonna shoot for. We're looking at recording, starting out by recording 4, just getting 4 done in a shot, and then just releasing them pretty on. So that
Yeah, so
we have some in reserve.
right, so we don't have to go every month and
Yeah.
rehearse and do all that, so we'll just try to do.
You have auditions on the website or on the Facebook yet?
Yes, Brittany already put audition, an event out on Facebook, I believe. It is the 23rd, I think 23rd and 24th. So the 23rd from 4 to 6 and the 24th noon to 2, if I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head.
23rd, 26th?
23rd and 24th. Of this month.
Of January, okay.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah, 23rd and 24th, or Saturdays, I think.
So 4 to 6 on the 23rd and noon to 2 on the 24th.
And then we kind of brainstormed about, you know, where we're gonna do it. If we're gonna do 4 at one time, I might as well, you know, make sure we do it here. And if we end up, there's an issue with the stage or whatever, we can always do it downstairs too.
Yeah, you always have bathrooms. don't you?
Yeah.
Right.
I know currently we're looking at just using the black backdrop and maybe just setting up a small set, like we need
A
a
couch.
table or a
Yeah.
couch, something like that.
Yeah.
We were talking about the video recording equipment since the theater doesn't have anything really fancy. We were talking about maybe reaching out to the theater until we found out that NACA is purchasing brand new equipment, recording equipment, streaming equipment. And since we are since Mouse Plays is NACA member, we will have access to it. So we're gonna try and keep it in-house.
I had just offered, we do a podcast at the college, so if that was needed, use that, but you might as well keep it down there.
Thank you guys. So we have 2 table agenda items, so we'll skip those. Announcement, MACA will be the recipient of the 2021 or one of the recipients of the 2021 Governor's Award for the arts in the category of arts organization. So if you see Justin out and about or any other MACA members, make sure you congratulate them and get them.
Just I have an additional thing regarding that. I don't know if you saw the email that came into the MRP line. They have a new website and they want information. One thing that I saw was they have us listed as a venue, and I asked them to take that off, because even though we have offered it at times, i.e. Good Night, we don't want that out in the world. And I also sent them the dates and things that I knew of for the upcoming shows, but we really need to keep on top of that, because, you know, people can see where we are.
And we have
Have
my
we
personal
paid our
email
dues?
as the email contact.
Sure,
No, that's, please take the email off of your website.
Oh, God.
You fixed it, though.
Did Do you know what?
If you haven't checked out the website yet, take a look at it.
Ours or theirs?
There's.
The next meeting is Monday, February 8th at 6:30 p.m. And with nothing further, meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys for staying so late.
I think lost.
Well, we do have it.
Yes.
What's to be expected?
I told my husband he was gonna have to start tonight.
Well, there are.